Sorry I haven't been able to do these lessons in a while, but I'm really looking forward to getting back into these. So today we're going to draw the Western Kingbird, but I'm going to do a graphite, so it's just going to be using a pencil. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Western Kingbird. It's a mid-sized flycatcher that inhabits mostly open grasslands of Texas and a lot of the United States. Its diet consists of mainly insects and flies, which it chases through the air with acrobatic maneuvers until it catches it. This is their sound. So a little high chirp there. I drew this picture actually from a picture I took in New Mexico out at Ghost Ranch in Abiquiu. So I'm really excited to draw this today. I think we can get started. Let's see. Okay. So honestly, for this, we're just gonna need paper and one drawing pencil. Can you maybe? Okay.
Let's wait just a minute. Okay.
Okay. So, like a lot of my pictures, I always like to start with the head.
Let's wait just a minute because you got a couple joining you, okay?
Got a couple people joining us here. Can I just adjust this? There we go.
Hang tight. You got a couple joining you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we're going to start with the head. I'm going to do just a little curve, comes up and back. His head's pretty flat in this picture. They normally have a little crest, but he's kind of flattening it to his head. So almost like a car's windshield right there, comes up. Then we're gonna do a tiny zigzag line down there that fades into a little curve. Then we're going to do the beak, which is, it's a pointy beak, but it has a little hook at the end. So we're gonna come straight out and then curve down just a teeny bit at the end. And then we're going to bring that line back down here. And then connect it to where we started. So he's gonna have his head tilted kind of at an angle. So I'm gonna do his eye now. We're gonna line it up with the beak corner right here. Just gonna do almost like a little raindrop shape. Right there. And you can color this in, but leave a little dot white for a highlight. And something that makes the highlights look real is if you gently shade a little bit over it, it tones it down a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to do the wing, or his back. So we're gonna come up and then down, and it's gonna come down to about right there. Okay, now there's a little, so for his feather on the other side, there's a little wing part that's sticking out. We're just gonna do a little, we're gonna come out and then curve back in. And now we're gonna do his tail. We're gonna come down for the rest of his back and then just draw a straight line out this way, like that. Then we're gonna finish his front over here. We're gonna do a little jaggedy line down this way. And we're just gonna do like a curved line, not curved, diagonal line that's pretty straight for his chest and belly. I'm gonna come way down here. We're gonna line it up kind of where we stopped with the wing. Now we're gonna do, he has some ruffly feathers under his belly. So we're gonna do a little zigzag up. And then for his leg, it's gonna be pretty much the same thing, just a little zigzag line that comes down and back up. And then for the rest of his belly, we're gonna continue that line and then stop with enough length to do the rest of the tail. So for his tail, we're gonna do it matching, but maybe coming out a little bit so the bottom of his tail is a tiny bit wider. Then to connect it, we're gonna curve back like this. Just two little curves, two little bumps. Now we're going to do his two legs. We're going to draw two lines that shoot out like this. Parallel lines that go right next to each other. He's going to be sitting on like a wooden chair frame or a fence post. So we're going to do the other leg, same thing. Just come out like this. And then for his toes, we're going to do just little, make it pretty simple, just little curves. Curve down like this and back. And then curve out and back. And then one more out and back. See a whole bunch of it. We're going to do one toe that comes out like this. He's gripping onto the chair with this toe. And then we're going to do a little bit of one over here. Just a little line like that. Okay, so for the chair or fence post, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. But we're going to come do a line up like this. And we're going to follow. What we can do is come up here and connect the 2 feet. And then follow through and curve the lines down on either side. And now we're going to come back up and start doing shading on his head. So for the tip of his head, he has a little crest. So we're going to come and continue that zigzaggy line to about right here. And then just do like a little guideline that comes down. And a lot of birds, I've noticed this as I've studied them, they have like a cheekbone in their feathers that really shows. So that's going to be part of our shading. We're going to come down and then up and then connect into the eye. Now we are going to do the headline. His head is a lot darker than the rest of his body. So we're going to come right here and curve along where his head is, like just a curved line up here, and then go into his back. Now for his wing, we're going to come down here to this little curve we did and bring a long line up like this. And then we're going to curve it around and come back into that line. So it's like a oval shape right here. Now we can do some feather details in his wing. They don't have to be exactly like mine, just a few little pockets of feathers, zigzaggy lines in here, long lines for the really long feathers. You want to fill this wing with all the cool feather designs. Okay, so now we're going to come down for his tail. And for the end of his belly, we're going to do 2 lines that meet in like a V shape. And then right where they meet, we're going to do a line down to where these meet. So now he's got 2 white stripes on his tail. So we can draw those. We're going to do 2 lines next to each other, connect them like this, and then 1 more up from the bottom. But we're not going to connect them. We're not going to connect these 2 together. Okay, now for this little part, we're going to start really doing the shading now. We're going to do some dark highlights down along here and leave a little white pocket here. And then we can do that same thing traced over this line, make it real dark and defined around his head. And now we're going to fill up his head with the shading. We're going to do some dark up on the very top of his head, and we're going to kind of fade it into a little bit lighter, but it's still going to be pretty dark. You can just use strokes with your pencil, all going the same way, like this, and keep it a pretty steady color from there. You can make it maybe a little bit lighter as you come down to this line right here. And then we're going to come on the other side of this crest and make it really dark. Under this little pocket, and then we're going to kind of fade into that darker gray out to here. Okay, now for his beak, we're going to color in this bottom line so it's really defined. And then we're going to do the same thing for the top, but as we do that, we're going to fade out lighter as we go. And we're going to leave a little patch of it white. We can do his little nostril right there on his beak. Now we're going to come on the side of his wing and do a little bit of shading under his wing to show that it's over his belly. You can define that line around the wing, make it darker, and then kind of fade into a lighter gray. Don't do it too much out here though, because this part is mostly white. And when it's with color, it actually has a tinge of yellow. Okay, now we're going to do some details on his belly and chest. We're going to do just some little light shadows. We're not going to push real too hard. Just come along here. Across, we're going to cross over his belly right here. We're just doing little shadows here and there where you think the light may reflect onto him, and where it's a little bit darker. So we can also do real defined shadows and shading in his wing, where all the little feather lines are. You can just define those and shade. Just wherever you think should be darker and where the light is hitting. And then for his tail, it's going to be pretty dark. We're going to define this side. We're just going to work on this half of his tail, the smaller half. Do that dark line, and then we're going to do a dark shadow across. and then fade into these little light pockets on the sides. And then this side, minus these two little stripes, we're just gonna color everything in pretty real dark. Just like that. Okay, now we're gonna add a little bit of 3D to this chair or fence post. We're gonna do another line on one side of it, like this, just to give it a little more texture. Then we can shade in his legs and toes. Just real simple in there. And then we can do a little bit of shadows from the bird on the chair, just coming up and across like this. A little bit of detail, and we can do some of the wood grains coming down here. Maybe we can even do a little knot right here in the wood. And then we can color in this side of the little 3D part pretty dark to show that it's shaded over here. Maybe the light's like shining this way because his chest is a little bit lighter. So this is a little bit simple for a graphite drawing, and I would like to keep doing more of these because I think they're really fun drawings that you can do with one pencil. And of course, don't forget to write your signature down at the bottom. And we're done. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.